Welcome back to the Out of Bounds podcast. I am Charlie Caleri alongside
Gavin Williams.
And today we're going to be talking about Week 13 and our Week 14 picks, talking about the playoff picture somewhere in there as well. First of all, hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.
Good Black Friday if you got some deals. Good Cyber Monday if you got some deals. And shout out to Small Business Saturday as well if you weren't snowed in Buffalo. Hopefully you supported your small businesses. But Gavin, how's your Thanksgiving? How's your break?
It was good.
How's your week of football?
No, it was great. You know, I got to watch a lot of football this week. And my dad and I were talking about this is the most football he's watched, and he doesn't remember how long. So
That's great.
That made
That's
his
great.
week.
That's
that
great.
made his week. So the CFO was happy this week.
That's awesome.
Oh,
More
yeah.
football is better. Always.
Always.
Can't dispute that. I was fortunate enough to be at the Bills game. We will talk about that in a little bit. But to start off in Week 13, let's talk about the first game that happened this week, which arguably was the one that created the most storylines of the week as well. It was the Bears against the Lions, and the Lions pulling out a gritty Detroit victory on Thanksgiving, 23-20 against their division rival, the Chicago Bears. And at the end of the game, I mean, some crazy stuff went down, Gav.
It's such a weird game because in the beginning of this game, the Lions looked like they were just going to roll. They were up, I think it was like 13-0. Or actually, it was 16-0. And they just looked like they were going to roll.
Right.
And the Bears contained it a little bit, brought it back. All they needed to do was hit a game-tying field goal in the last drive. That's all they needed to do was a game-tying field goal. They go down the field. They're marching. And then Caleb Williams
Great drive.
Yeah, it was.
First of all,
Caleb Williams got sacked. All right, and whatever. Third and
you
26.
got 30 seconds left. It's
Yeah,
fine,
and a
right?
timeout.
And a timeout, yeah.
They decided not to call a timeout, and they decided not to hustle to the line of scrimmage. And they just went downhill from there. Waited all the way till I think the clock was 5.
It was enough time where you could only run one play, and the play that they ran was not even a. I think Caleb, honestly, at that point was just like, I don't even think he realized it. I mean, it's on him as well, but he's got to realize in that moment, you know, oh my God, look up at the clock. There's 3 seconds left. I got to chuck this to the end zone right now. We got to try to win this game. Obviously, didn't work out for them, and it definitely didn't work out for Matt Eberflus because on Black Friday, happy Black Friday to Matt Eberflus, he got fired, and taking his job,
The offensive
coordinator,
Interim offensive coordinator,
who is now the interim head coach, Thomas Brown. I don't know much about Thomas Brown, but I will say that Bears offense has been a little sketchy this year.
It's been very sketchy this year.
So they're on a 6-game losing streak right now. Playoffs aren't looking too good for them. But, you know, we've seen crazy things happen. Not saying they're in the playoff race, but we've seen some crazy things happen with the team coming together at the end of the year, like the Lions the year before they started their run, right? And then look where they are now. Could we see something like that with the Bears with their new interim head coach? We might be seeing something like that in New Orleans right now as well.
With the Rizzler.
The second Rizzler too. But yeah, Matt Eberflus getting fired here. Interesting situation in the NFC North. What do you think?
I think it was a great idea for Chicago to fire him. I was sad they fired him. I really appreciated when we played him. A business decision had to be done, but I think it was more personal because it should be personal. And he was a horrible coach, and it sucks for someone like Caleb Williams who just got in the league, developed his entire play style around that coach, and he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think, who knows? This could be a great move for Caleb Williams. In who knows, this week he'd be throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Depends on whatever offense Thomas Brown wants to put in there, but I guess we'll see. It's the only thing we really can say for now. But really the only thing that the Bears really want out of this season, what I was trying to say, is just improvement towards the end of the year. Try to build towards next year. You got some good players. I mean, you got DJ Moore, obviously. You got Swift. You got Keenan Allen. You got Cole Kmet. Those are some really good offensive weapons to work around, and including Ramon Duze as well. You just drafted, and the guy that you're going to get in the draft this year, whoever that may be.
Yeah, because they're going to be a low draft pick.
Right.
As of right now.
As of right now, and they probably will be.
Yeah.
So, you know, things to look forward to if you're a Bears fan. I know it looks very bleak right now, especially the way the season has gone. But for next year, maybe. I don't know.
I just love that Caleb texted the punter on draft night saying you're not going to punt much here, but they do.
I can't believe you do that, man.
It's a ballsy move.
We were confused at that point and still kind of confused now. But you wanted to talk about your team, the Green Bay Packers.
I did. Thanksgiving night, 8:20, Lambeau Field. Some flurries. No 2 feet of snow like Buffalo got, but hey, a little snow football, like a little flurry, still counts in a way. Not as much as like 2 feet does, but in the game against the Miami Dolphins, Tua was 0-7 going into this game against teams playing in under 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Which, by the way, I want to point something out about Tua. If you look at the AFC East, right, who are the other 3 teams? Where are the cities?
Up north, man.
Up north. Buffalo, Boston, New Jersey, right? You got those 3 cities/states, regions, New England. They're all cold in the winter. They're all pretty cold. They all get below 40 degrees. So if you want to win some games in December, late season, when you're supposed to be winning games in clutch moments, Tua,
Yep.
you got to start winning those division games.
Yeah. Well, and he had to start off winning here. I'm going to get into it really quick. The game was 30-17. Didn't feel like 30-17. Felt like a nice little butt whooping for the Packers. Halftime was 24-3. Everybody took off the brakes. They got a couple garbage time touchdowns. One was a lucky catch from Tyreek Hill. Tua actually didn't play that bad. I mean, his stats make it look like they put up 30 points. He had 365 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jonnu Smith has just been his best receiver all year, tight end. 10 receptions, 113 yards. But the Packers are finally getting it done. They're finally getting it done. Jordan Love, 21 for 28. That's efficient. I like that. 274 yards, good. 2 touchdowns, good. 0 interceptions. I don't know what it is about Jordan Love in the second half of the season, but these past 3 games he's looked remarkable compared to what he looked like throwing picks every single week. So, knock on wood. Hopefully this trend can just continue, and he has the series of no interceptions, because when we don't throw interceptions, we don't lose games. Just
Sure,
as
I was
simple
going to
as
say,
that.
there's a lot of season left, too. So
Much
it
season.
could start trending the other way for anybody, for any quarterback. But, if you're going to see a bad game out of Jordan Love, you might want to see it this Thursday. I know that's kind of terrible to say. I know because, and we'll talk about the playoff picture in a little bit. But, yeah, if you're going to have a bad game, you might want to have it be tomorrow night on Thursday night.
It's a huge game, an interdivision game. So this, as we get to the end of the year, it's getting really, really close with the NFC North. Lions sit at 11-1. We have Lions at 11-1, Minnesota at 10-3. 10-2. Packers at 9-3. Boom. So it's like 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Literally in losses 1, 2, and 3. All the Packers need to do if they want to find a way to win the North, it starts on Thursday night, get a win. Got to hope for a Vikings loss or another Lions loss. That's it. That's all they got to do. And they just have to basically win out.
Right.
That's all they can do to get. So I think as much as I want to believe that there's still a chance, I think the Lions still got this one. They're going to take the North. We know we're going to be a 5-6 seed. So it just has to sit with me.
Which we talked about. That might be where you want to be this year.
And it's a tough NFC, but
yep.
Every NFC game this year is going to be anybody's game.
Yep, it's going to be. I mean, every game. I think AFC, NFC. It's going to be great. December of football, end of the season right here.
Yeah.
And this starts again with we'll talk about the Kansas City Chiefs now, the defending back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Wow, man! Just every week, man, these guys find another way to win these games, and I don't know how, man. I'm losing patience, man.
I am too. I mean, I think that's 5 games now where they've gotten lucky. I mean, it's just getting sickening. It's like the same story every week now. It's just
like, how is this possible that this is going on right now?
It shouldn't be possible. It should not be at all.
Let's talk about the end of this game real quick. Or just this game in general. But started off with the Chiefs having a 13-point lead in the third quarter of this game, and then the Raiders started to come back a little bit, right? Pull close in this game. And eventually the Raiders, at the end of this game, get into, where the score was, 19-17, right? Get into field goal range. There's about, 14 seconds left?
Yep.
Aiden O'Connell gets to the line, looks at the defense, starts to make some adjustments. Center snaps the ball. And I know it might not be the center's fault. It might be O'Connell's fault. It's everybody's fault at that point. Ball falls on the ground. Nobody gets to it. Chiefs land on it. And
there was like a weird penalty that went with it.
Yeah, and then there was it turned out to be a false start. It should have been a false start. They changed it to an illegal shift, which
Ruined the game.
which basically ended the game, and cost Vegas a chance to kick a game-winning field goal with Daniel Carlson, who probably would have hit it, especially from that distance, and it would have bumped the Chiefs down to 10-2, tied with the Bills at this point.
That would have been huge. No, you guys would have been.
And we would have been the 1 seed.
Yeah. It's tough.
And there's a lot of season left and a lot of games left, but there's these games: the Panthers game, this game, the Raiders game, this game. They're all just mixing together at this point, and like you said, it's 5 in a row or something like that this has been going on, and it's just kind of ridiculous, man.
I think it's just getting to the point where everybody's just so annoyed. And they don't even really want to watch any Chiefs football. So come playoff time, America's going against Kansas City this year. You know that for a fact.
Yeah, and the Chiefs have a big game this Sunday night at home against a division rival who they usually beat up on at home, the Los Angeles Chargers, playing them. That's a huge game for AFC seeding for the Chargers as well, and especially for the Chiefs just to stay at the 1 seed because they know the Bills are coming, and we're right there. But I think that's enough talk about the Chiefs for today. It's
always enough.
If you think so.
If you say one sentence.
Well, we had to talk about it at least.
One sentence is just enough for the Chiefs for the day.
But let's move on to
a hunt team. A team that's in the hunt.
A team that is in the hunt, that solidified their want to be in the hunt and want to be in the playoffs this week with a gritty win. I know I keep saying it, but this was grit week, I think, in the NFL.
It was a great overall week. Especially that 1 o'clock window was. I thought it was going to be some crappy games, but there were some good games. Great games.
Gritty
like
game
one.
here. 25-24, the Indianapolis Colts come out top in Foxborough against the Patriots. And let's talk about the end of this game because that's where everything really started to...
That's the storyline.
That's where the story is. So, Colts drive down the field, start at their own 20.
Very good drive.
80-yard drive, 19 plays, 5 minutes left on the clock when they got the ball. They ran it down almost all the way. Masterful drive by Anthony Richardson.
About 12 seconds, I think.
He left 12 seconds on the clock. And, they get down to the goal line, end up being first and goal at the 8. Then they get down to the 2. Wow. I mean, second and goal at the 2. You're probably punching it in with 24 seconds left, right? Eventually, it gets down to 4th and goal.
Yeah, because they went run, and run.
And
First, second, and third.
And they kept getting stuff
runs.
against a very good New England defensive line and good defense.
Yep.
Who will get stops, especially with their coach being a guy that was the guy stopping those runs in the past. And then just like you said, ballsy call. And Anthony Richardson throws to Alec Pierce for 3 yards, touchdown. And then
I think he got more ballsy here.
And then, so at this point, it's 24-23. You're like, all right, let's go Colts. We're going to
overtime,
OT.
yeah.
We're going to OT. We got 12 seconds left. I know 12 seconds probably isn't enough time, but 13 is.
Shaikin said the hell with that.
But
Shaikin said the hell with that. We're going for it right now.
Right, and then they went for 2, and they gave it to their hottest player at the time, Anthony Richardson. Wasn't working with JT.
Nope.
Tried it with AR, ran right through. They got it, took the lead, and then
the dance that Anthony Richardson had, goes to the back of the end zone, looks at all the fans, throws up the yell, and starts jigging. The take the L dance. If you don't know what it is, look it up.
And he hit
That's
it.
what he did.
And
With
guess
12
what?
seconds left. It was kind of ballsy.
It almost came
The
back.
entire ballsy
and
drive.
it almost came back to bite him.
I think if I were to have like an Onions drive of the week, this would be the Onions drive of the week.
Shout out Onions.
Onions.
Shout out Onions. But yeah, I mean, what a play call by Shane Steichen to say, hey, we want to get in the playoffs. We want to do it now. I was talking to our Colts correspondent, Ian Kennedy. He was saying it was a great move to go for 2. Obviously, after the fact, he's saying that. But then I asked him. I said, "Do you think you said that you're saying that because they won?" He said, "No, because he said our defense was gassed." He said, "If we get to OT and they get the ball first, we're losing the game within the first few plays."
Okay,
it's probably a Tebow, Demaryius Thomas.
I mean, they were driving down that field with the 12 seconds left.
I know. So basically, what happened here? New England starts with it on their 30-yard line. They get to the 50 eventually. And then they send out Joey Sly for a 68-yarder potentially NFL record-setting field goal, and it was short by about 2 yards.
the most jacked kicker in the league. Just
Yeah,
want to point
he
that
is
out.
jacked,
He is
by the way.
yoked.
Yeah.
But just not right down the pipes. It was actually perfect.
It was a perfectly
placement.
inline kick.
Just couldn't have the leg for it, man.
And he kicked it 66 yards, I think.
I think this is how it went. When I was watching it live. So do you remember Justin Tucker's to 67-yarder?
Yes.
He got a running start to get that kickoff. But for this, it was just a 1-2 punch. If Sly got the run up like Justin Tucker got that one game, that was good.
Yeah, he should have taken maybe a half step more.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that messes with your timing if you're a kicker.
It messes, but you practice that.
But right, you should.
And that's why they went for the
especially a
kick.
guy like Joey Sly who has such a big leg, obviously. Kicked it 66 yards. I mean, just missed the field goal. If it could have been 67, I mean, it was really close, man.
I was talking to my friend about this. He said this was the best case scenario for the Patriots because he's a Patriots fan.
Probably.
He said it was a game I was able to watch,
Right.
and we get better draft pick.
Right. I mean,
So
they're
that
sitting
was
at 3-10 right
Yeah.
now. And right. I mean, it's probably a disappointing game after the fact to be sitting there losing that game. You want to win that game, but after the fact,
In reality,
it is a better situation that they lost that game.
Yep.
But it also shows signs that Drake May can get you down the field in those situations. Even with 12 seconds left, it can show you that Drake May can keep you in a good football game like this against a Colts team that really wants to be in the playoffs. Like they're sitting at 6-7 right now. We'll talk about the playoff race in a little bit, but
yeah. Actually, I've thought about it pretty in depth. A 4-year plan for the New England Patriots.
all right, let's hear it.
Year one's this year.
Hard Knocks, probably on Hard Knocks this year.
Just do whatever you want. You're gonna be a bad team. You're gonna get a good draft pick. I'm not gonna say who to draft or anything. It's just my 4-year plan. So it's year one. Year two's next year. It's not gonna be much better. They're gonna be like a 6-win team, but that's gonna be a team where you're gonna be kind of scared to play them because you never know.
Right.
So it's gonna be like that feeling of a team, like a 6-win, but it's always like gonna be either close, a blowout sometimes, but they're gonna be competitive with the good teams.
Okay.
Year three, that's where you're hovering 500. That's the 8-win team. That's the 8, maybe 9, maybe.
Like this is like you could get in the playoffs.
Not necessarily.
Like
That-
you're in it until
this
this
is-
point. Like
thi-
you're in it until this point in the season.
pretty
and
much,
then you
yeah.
kind of drop off.
like week 16 drop off,
right.
and then year 4.
You go for it.
That's the year where you're gonna be 9 or 8 or 10-7. You're not gonna be the Super Bowl contenders, but that's my 4-year plan for the Patriots. The 4th year is go to the playoffs.
We've
Doesn't
seen-
matter
I
if you
mean-
win, just go.
So, but we've seen crazier things with quarterbacks, and especially a talent like Drake May, who we've seen. You think it takes his whole rookie contract for them to get to the playoffs?
I think it just depends based off of what
It's a
they
tough
do in
division.
the offseason.
Tough division.
That's the reason why
tough AFC. Right.
I think
I agree
their
with you.
offseason moves dictate whether this talent from Drake May is going to be wasted or not.
I agree with you. We've seen faster turnarounds. Look at Houston, for example.
Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, in recent memory. I mean, Cincinnati a few years
And
back.
Detroit, like I basically framed mine after Detroit, but Detroit's was a 3-year plan.
Right.
I just added an extra year on it because New England's
Detroit's was a 4-year plan that they executed in 2.5.
Yeah,
It was very impressive.
exactly.
Very
And
impressive.
That's my thing with New England.
And this is
I
the
just,
3rd year for them.
I just don't
that
think
plan.
New England has the ability to go get those flashy guys because with all the history they've had with Belichick, he never got those flashy guys. He got the role players that just were perfect.
Yeah, but I mean, Belichick's not there anymore.
He's not, and that's the thing is like
Let's see if they change
change
it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a new age in New England.
Definitely.
They're wearing these throwback jerseys.
They're
First of all.
gorgeous, man.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
They're wearing these throwback jerseys a little bit more than I thought
They
they
should
would.
be. That should be the unis.
And
by far.
I don't mind their navy blue.
I only
don't
like when
mind
they.
it.
I only like when they wear gray pants.
I do like when they wear the gray pants though.
But I don't know why they don't. They barely wear the gray pants when they
I
have gray
do
helmets.
think that they should have a red alternate or something, or alternate helmet, or so. I don't know.
They gotta do
should mix
something
it
with
up
the
a little bit.
Patriots.
But yeah. So let's move on now to you want to talk about the Vikings and Cardinals game?
Yeah, this was a great game. Especially, I was locked into this game because two of my buddies from home. I'm a Vikings fan and a Cardinals fan.
Which is not normal teams for
No.
Utica, New York, but when they do match up, it's probably electric.
It's electric. I mean, Strauss with the Cardinals, Nate Walsh with the Vikings, and it was a big game for both teams because the Cardinals, NFC West is getting really tight. And it's been tight all year, and the Vikings need to win to keep them above the Packers. So a lot was on the line here. Cardinals played a great game up until the fourth quarter. They were up majority of the game. Then the Vikings in the fourth quarter got alive, and they had 2 scores, a field goal and a touchdown. But what I want to talk about most was the last drive for each team. Seeing how happy Sam Darnold was after that touchdown throw to seal the game. He had 2, and he had 235 yards, if anybody was curious. Then I was like, okay, there's still more than a minute on the clock. All Kyler has to do is drive down to the 40-yard line to kick a field goal. Good night. And let's go, because that's big for the Packers, because they need to lose one game. And the Bears in the past couple of weeks have been really on that line where they can lose. But not today. Kyler runs down. He's running around, sacked. Next down, whatever. Third down. Throws a pick, game-winning interception into double coverage. Vikings get the win here. I just want to say how important this is for the Vikings, because the Vikings stay in the 2 spot in the NFC North, which is looking at a 5 seed in the playoffs, which is huge. And then you have the Cardinals sitting at 6-6, who's hovering that NFC West line, but right now they're out of the playoffs because the Seahawks jumped them. So this was a huge game that I don't think a lot of people were locked in on. And I just want to mention that this game had a ton of playoffs.
I was going to say, this is a huge game for playoff implications.
Yeah. So I just want to mention that what a win from the Vikings and a horrible loss for the Cardinals to bump them all the way down out of the playoffs. After last week, they were in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, huge game there. And, NFC North is just a very action-packed division this week, especially, as well as the NFC West. We will, trust me, we will get to the NFC playoff picture in a little bit. But for now, let's get to a potential Super Bowl matchup right now, which played at 4 o'clock on Sunday. I was watching this at the tailgate. Shout out Red Zone.
Sky Hansen.
Love Red Zone.
Syracuse legend.
Yeah. And this is a game where the Philadelphia Eagles went into Baltimore and beat up on the Baltimore Ravens. And I'll say beat up because this game did not feel close, even though it was 24-19 in Baltimore. And I know what you're saying. Baltimore was up 9-0 in this game. That's right. They won a quarter in this game. But the next 3 were all Philly.
They were all. I mean, the first quarter was horrible. I mean, I thought it was gonna be a blowout.
It was a muddy game. It started with the Justin Tucker field goal, and then this is where it really started to unravel. You get that Mark Andrews 14-yard touchdown, right? Great play from Lamar there. But then Justin Tucker misses that PAT. You can't have that happen, man.
It's a downfall of Justin Tucker,
so
man.
It's 9-0 at that point. Eagles go back down. Dallas Goedert, their tight end, gets a touchdown of his own. He's out potentially for next week. He's questionable throughout this week. Monitor that throughout the week if you have him in fantasy. And then at the 2-minute warning, Jalen Hurts takes the lead for the Eagles, 14-9 at this point. Ravens get the ball, come down. Justin Tucker does make this one, redeems himself with a 50-yard field goal. Now they're down by 2 going into half. And this is really where it started to get ugly here in the third quarter for Justin Tucker specifically. Man, it's really tough to watch a guy that you've watched for his whole career be so good and so dominant at something so specific too in a game like football. And now he's just kind of lost his touch, missed that extra point, missed 2 field goals in the third quarter. It's kind of just unraveling right now for Justin Tucker.
Yeah, speaking about Justin Tucker, so far this season, he has 8 missed field goals, which is the most in a season in his career. He has 10 missed field goals and extra points, which is also most in his career. He's 9 for 16 field goals and losses. So in the games that they've lost, he's 9 for 16 in field goals, and he's 2 from 7 from 50-plus yards. I don't understand the fall off from Justin Tucker from going from the best kicker in the league to the worst.
And you know what? This is what happens with kickers, unfortunately.
It's like golfers, too.
Happened with Adam Vinatieri. When he was on the Colts, he was on the Patriots first, went to the Colts. He was the best kicker in the league, and then the next year,
the fall off
just kind of fell off the 1 year with the Colts. I think it's kind of the same situation with Tucker right here. I saw a clip of Pardon My Take, and they were saying how a few weeks ago this should have been addressed in-house by the Ravens. They should have seen this coming. And it's eventually, I think it's going to cost them down the line.
This is going to cost them the season.
This will cost them some points, some crucial points, especially in this game.
This could cost them the season if they make the playoffs in one missed kick.
Right. And then, I mean, I don't know. It's just a tough situation. They were saying how Justin Tucker should have potentially faked an injury and they kind of send him out that way. I don't love that idea.
That's a horrible
but
idea.
I don't like cutting the guy either. So I don't really know what you
know.
do in that situation.
I think you
can't
just eat it.
you can't just sign a guy and then I don't know. I really don't know. Obviously, this is probably his last ride with Baltimore, but he's got to lock in here. He's got to really lock in.
It's getting really bad, but we'll see if he can get it turned around. But a guy I want to talk about who did turn it around, Bryce Young. And they lost the game in overtime to the Bucks, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are his stats after he got benched and when he became a starter again. So, Bryce Young, since becoming a starter again, he has 858 passing yards, 5 total touchdowns, and 1 interception. Those are stats we've never seen from a man through a couple weeks.
Not in the NFL.
84.6 passer rating. That is third in the NFL in the last 5 weeks.
I did not know
Third.
that. That's very impressive.
He led his team to a game-tying or game-winning field goal drive in all 4 games. Yep. He led the Panthers to back-to-back wins for the first time since 2021.
Wow.
Baker Mayfield quoted, "I am proud of him. This guy has the potential to do anything he wants to do."
And honestly, I think any NFL quarterback, and I think most NFL fans see that, Bryce Young, I think they just see that the situation around him is just very unfortunate for him right now.
And I think this is the point of the season where me and you were both locked in, probably going to get released, probably not going to play another down as a starter again after Andy Dalton went in. But now I think he's got another year at least in him.
I don't
in
know.
Carolina.
Yeah. I wasn't on the release train, but I was on the benching for the season.
Yeah.
Just let Dalton ride it out train. But, obviously get your young guy some reps while you can. This is just another kind of lost season for him and for the Panthers. But, you got to at least
he's looking good.
At least he's looking good. Xavier Legette's looking good when he's healthy. Thielen, when he's healthy, he's looking good. I know he's 34 or whatever, but, he's still balling.
Chuba Hubbard's great.
Yeah, I mean, you got some guys, some pieces for
Just
the
need
future.
the O-line to,
I just don't
develop.
get. Yeah, I don't get what's wrong with this. They spent so much money on the O line this year.
I didn't know that.
They spent, I think, the most money on O linemen in the offseason this year to
That's
try to
crazy.
address their problems, and it just did not work. So the guys that they got were probably just guys that wanted a bag, not good character guys. I'm not going to speak for those guys, but whatever. Some good character guys though I want to talk about real quick. The AFC East champs, 5-time back to back AFC East champs, the Buffalo Bills. What a game. What a ride this season so far. But we're still going up that roller coaster. We're still going up. The way down, it's going to be that parade, I think.
Hopefully.
It might be. But it also might be that game against Detroit in 2 weeks as well. So I guess we'll see where the fall off is. It will be at some point, but hopefully it's after the season in February. But let's talk about this game real quick while we're on the high of the Bills right now. The Bills moved to 10-2 with this 35-10 win against the San Francisco 49ers at home in the snow. It was awesome.
Can I just say something real quick? I'm watching the game in the living room with the CFO. I'm like, how fitting is this? December 1st, 2 feet of snow on the ground, Buffalo Bills football, Sunday night.
It's fitting, man.
I mean, how much better does it get on December 1st? I don't think it gets much better.
It doesn't get much
Happy
better.
holidays.
And it doesn't get much better than the team clinching the division so early in the year. We have 5 games left.
No, that's awesome.
5 games left. I mean, you're already locked into the playoffs. You're locked in for a home playoff game, which is huge.
At least one.
Which is huge. And, Josh was saying after the game, he was saying we can play free now. And if they weren't playing free before,
I don't know what they were
I don't know
doing,
what
man.
free is, man. Because
Talk about the play from
yeah,
Amari
let's talk
Cooper.
about. So, I mean, it wasn't on my end of the field where I was sitting. So I was sitting with my dad. Shout out Frank. In the end zone side where James Cook scored his long touchdown, not in that corner, but the other corner. You know what I'm talking about? But it was on that side.
Yep.
On the other side was where Josh Allen made a highlight reel play. One of the best plays of his career. MVP type play,
Yes.
like you said. Throws a little short pass to Amari Cooper.
What a catch, by the way. I don't
Great
know how he
catch.
grabbed that in.
Stayed up, by the way.
Yeah.
On the about 8-9 yard line.
I
he
thought they were
caught
going
it.
to blow it dead, too.
And then, he gets wrapped up, and then for whatever reason, Amari Cooper sees his quarterback and goes, "Hey, I'm just going to give him the ball."
There's only one quarterback in the league you can do this with, and it's Josh Allen.
Pitches it to Josh Allen. Josh says, "All right, I'll take the ball," because he wants to score too. dives at the end zone.
Oh.
I had a perfect angle of seeing Josh dive and get the ball over the. It was picturesque, man.
Wow.
Dive, get that ball over. Place goes nuts, man. Snow's flying all over the place.
Mr. Brightside.
That's the MVP moment right there. That's the moment right there which propelled him to being the betting favorite for MVP.
minus 210.
Minus 210 now.
I haven't seen minus betting this. Well, I don't know. I think there's some 2-3 guys that are really in contention, but I haven't seen minus with it when it's so close.
Man, it's just it feels good. This team is a great team. They're a team. That's the best part.
I love it.
Is that they're a team. They're together. And I honestly think we got to start talking about Sean McDermott for Coach of the Year as well.
The way he turned it around, man. We were talking. I was talking about last year.
Last year, all the blunders that we had. I mean, you can go back to the episodes that we recorded. I was lost on Sean McDermott. I was never on the fire him train. Never was.
I said fire him.
But I was on the. We need some changes right now.
Yeah.
He needs to fix it. And guess what? He went back to the drawing board this offseason. Him and Josh got it all together.
Doing snow angels.
Doing some snow angels. He went back to the drawing board, really worked on some situational football things that he needed to fix. Still needs to work on challenges. Still needs to work on some defensive timeout situations, especially early in halves, especially the second half. But those are the little things, and those are nitpicky things. Like, I can live with that as a Bills fan. You can live with that if that's the thing that's a problem with your coach. So I think he's a candidate for Coach of the Year. And I think Josh Allen's MVP. What a game. Go Bills.
Yeah, I agree with both those takes. I remember last year. This year was a hot seat year for me. And in my opinion, was Sean McDermott. And wow, his tushies got warm because they were playing great, especially in the cold weather. What a win from the Bills. I just want to say, definitely the front runner for MVP, Josh Allen. I got Saquon right in my back pocket, though. I think if he gets above 2,000 rushing yards, he gets it.
100%. Because, I mean, Allen's not really leading in anything stat-wise, I don't think, right now. But this is more of a season where it's like, if you watch the games, if you really watch
he's the most valuable player. Like,
you can tell. Yeah, you can just tell. I mean, I think the Bills, obviously, the team really makes him look good because we have so many guys. Once again, another game without Dalton Kincaid this week. Another game without Keon Coleman. Another game where Khalil Shakir only had about 2 catches in this game.
Mac Hollins got another touch.
Mac Hollins was very involved this game.
He said that was his favorite play of the game.
This is just a great team, a great win.
It's fun to watch him play.
And Matt Milano returned this game as well on limited snaps, so he's going to be unleashed as well. So this team is really going to start to come together and become healthy, which is scary at the end of the season. And I'm just really excited to watch them play in December, in January, and hopefully in February.
All right. We're going to move on to the last game. We're going to talk about it for a little bit. We have Jameis Winston playing the most Jameis Winston game imaginable. He had 497 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, 2 of them being pick sixes. If that's not the most Jameis Winston Tampa Bay Buccaneer stat line, I don't know what is. That is a absolute Tampa Bay Buccaneer Jameis Winston stat line. But I want to talk about one guy and one guy only right now. Jerry Jeudy. Your guy, Charles. Whether it was fantasy that you've given up on him, but he's back. He is
I still love
back.
Jerry. I mean, he is me and Ella. Shout out Ella. We have a fantasy team together. It's called Judy Duty. So I'm all in on. I'm all in on Jerry Jeudy.
I wish you started him this week.
He's been starting every week for that team. Every week for that team.
So,
even the weeks that he was not good. So I've been riding with him all year.
So he set an NFL record. Most receiving yards against a former team in NFL history. He had 235 yards off 9 receptions and 1 touchdown. The other guys were Terrell Owens having 213 in 2008 against the 49ers. And Irving Fryer, 211 yards in 1994 against the Patriots.
Just impressive stuff, man. I saw the graphic come up. That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I took a screenshot of it right when it came up.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Just what a weird game.
Yeah, I want to give some props to the Broncos.
Interesting game. Shout out to the Broncos for coming out on the winning side of this one.
Bo Nix didn't play his best game.
No, he didn't. And you know what? And I really like about Bo Nix and why I think he's going to be a successful quarterback is obviously he's great on the field, but you can tell he's a leader in the locker room. He's a rookie playing in his 12th NFL game, and this guy's already the leader of this team. Like, people look to him for advice. People look to him for leadership. And he said after the game, he goes, "This game wasn't on me. This is the defense. This is the O-line. They won this game in the trenches." And that was true. But he said, "This game wasn't me. I can have bad games too." We can still come out of the winning side of that, and that's a good sign if you're a Denver Broncos fan.
No, yeah. I just want to add in a little bit more about Bo Nix was after the post game interview, and she was like, "Oh, like you played great tonight." And he was like, I played an That's it. I mean, he goes, it was all defense though, and he was like, I played He goes, wasn't my best game. I have to improve.
He gives credit to his teammates,
too.
And that's all you can really ask for out of your quarterback. If you look at the trend of the top NFL quarterbacks, I hate Patrick Mahomes, but he always gives credit to his team whenever. Especially in the last few weeks, he's definitely getting credit to his defense on the last few weeks.
Special teams.
Allen's always done that. Even a guy like Lamar, he's always done that too. I can't say that about Burrow. Though, unfortunately.
I mean, he can't because.
And Herbert, I'll throw Herbert
anything
in there as well. He's in that conversation too. So I mean, those are intangibles you want out of your franchise quarterback. Those are certain things, not a thing that you get out of Caleb Williams as well. Throw that in there. But for now. That's Jameis. That's the Monday night game. That's the Week 13 games.
Mm-hmm.
Great week of football. Started on Thanksgiving. We had 3 days of NFL football this week.
Great,
that
man.
was great.
4 days.
A great 4 days. Sorry, including a great day of Saturday college football as well.
Oh, it was great.
With Michigan beating Ohio State.
That was interesting.
Go Blue.
We're going to talk about Cuse beating Miami, the bigger upset.
Oh, okay. We got you
in the Loud House. You're welcome, Dabo Sweeney.
He's getting washed, friend.
And did you see what Dabo Sweeney said?
I did.
He said if they win the national championship, Fran Brown's riding in the car with Dabo Sweeney.
All right. So shout out to the ACC right there. Let's talk about the AFC right now. AFC playoff picture right now. We're going to talk about the AFC playoff picture, NFC playoff picture. And let's just start off with Friday. Chiefs, the first team to clinch the playoffs. Shout out to them. Just the playoffs, though. Just the playoffs.
Hey, I mean, we helped them out.
And thank you.
We helped 2 teams out this
week. Thank you to the Green Bay Packers, because without them and the Miami Dolphins losing that game, the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night had the opportunity to clinch the division. They got it done. Clinched the division there. Clinched the playoff berth. So the Chiefs and the Bills sitting at the 1 and 2 seed right now. Let's move down the road a little bit right now.
Yeah.
We got the Steelers sitting at 9 and 3, first in the AFC North. Right behind them in the AFC North is the Baltimore Ravens at 8 and 5.
They're the 6th seed.
Yes, and they are the 6th seed. They drop below the Chargers right now. Chargers are at 8 and 4. Houston Texans sitting at the 4 seed, 8 and 5. They're first in their division. So, I mean, the Chargers, if we're looking at the AFC West right now, Chargers probably not going to win the AFC West. The 3 games down. But they can lock in that 5 seed.
They could.
That would be huge, facing the AFC South winner, whoever that ends up being. If the Colts can have a kind of Jags kind of comeback and the Texans can have a Titans fall off.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's the 2 other teams in the division kind of on that trend right now, but from 2 years ago. But the Ravens, like you said, falling down to the 6th seed right there, 8 and 5, and the Broncos steadily at the 7th seed, 8 and 5. Kind of just hanging out there right now.
They're pretty. I think the teams that are in for the AFC are pretty locked in right now.
I think so too, but the thing that's kind of tough is that the Broncos have a really tough schedule coming up.
They do.
And they have a tough game coming up against this team who has an easy schedule, the Indianapolis Colts. So they both have a bye this week, week 14, but week 15 we'll be heavy on that game, talking about that, previewing that, because that is a huge game for the Colts. It's basically a playoff game for them. If they win that game, they still have a chance. If the Broncos win that game, they kind of lock down the playoffs for everybody, I guess. Because I don't think the Dolphins are getting it done, and I think the Bengals are too far gone at this point.
I think they are too.
So, yeah, even with the Bengals, if they get a win this week against the Cowboys, they have a 4% chance. So,
and they would need a lot of help.
Basically dead. Every team in the AFC is sitting at 98 or 99%, besides the Broncos, who are sitting at 74, and then the Colts are sitting at 26%. So that's the other kind of percent right there. But that's the AFC kind of picture right now, kind of separating a little bit, but really excited to see how the Steelers-Ravens situation works out.
Especially because they play each other next week, I think.
Right, and even that just the whole wild card seeding situation. The Broncos could be the 5, Chargers could be the 7, Ravens could be the 7. I mean, who knows, man? Steelers could be the 7. It's going to be pretty wild. Obviously, the race for the 1 seed's pretty interesting. And then let's go to the bottom now. This week, the Raiders, Jags, and Patriots all got eliminated, as well as the New York Giants on the NFC side of things. The Raiders and Jags right now are sitting at 2 and 10, holding the worst 2. I think the 1 and 2 pick in the draft right now.
1 is the Giants, I think.
1 is the Giants. Raiders are 2, Jags are 3, and then followed by the Patriots right there.
3 and 10.
Yeah. So, that's the bottom right there. You want to touch on the NFC real quick?
We have a very interesting NFC race.
Very interesting.
Very
A
interesting.
few divisional races here.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting. So we have the 1 seed Detroit Lions, the 2 seed Philadelphia
Which I think the
Eagles.
Lions clinch a division or a postseason berth if they win this week.
Oh, really?
Pretty
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And potentially the Eagles as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because the Eagles play the Commanders. Or sorry, they don't play the Commanders this week. They will play the Commanders in a week or two. But the Eagles are the 2 seed. The 3 seed, the Seahawks, because that big win against the Cardinals, and the Cardinals losing this week. So that was big. And then in the 4 seed, the Atlanta Falcons, even though they lost this week.
Yeah, they're sitting at 6-6 right now. I think it's a 3-game losing streak for them, if I'm not mistaken. And they were pretty solid at the 3 seed right now, or they were solid at the
They
3
were.
seed. But I mean, now they're
Bucs are
tied for the
climbing
division.
back.
They're
Yeah.
tied for the division now.
The Bucs are climbing back. So now we have the 5 seed, the 10-2 Vikings, the 6 seed, the 9-3 Packers, and then the 7 seed, the 7-5 Commanders.
8-5.
Sorry, 8-5 Commanders.
Bye this week for the Commanders.
So this week we'll get into that in a little bit. But very interesting race. So if we were to start the playoffs today, there would be an interdivision game between the 2-seeded Eagles and the 7-seeded Commanders. The Packers would visit Lumen Field in Seattle, and we would have Minnesota visiting Atlanta for the Falcons, and the 1-seeded Lions would have a bye
Preview of a game this week. Vikings and Falcons right there.
right there,
Um,
and we have a game next week: Seahawks at Packers.
Right.
Or sorry, Packers at Seahawks, I believe. But we have a huge couple of games coming up, especially with playoff implications. As every season goes, the later the season gets, the bigger the playoff implications get. So it's going to get very interesting, especially with some huge interdivision games for some teams this week.
Right.
See how it goes.
And it's going to be just interesting in the NFC to see how, there's really 3 division races going on. We got the NFC North, which seems like the Lions are likely going to get it done. If not the Lions, the Vikings, but Packers are still in there. But,
Appreciate it.
NFC South obviously now is in full effect. And then you got all 4 teams. Maybe you throw the Niners out of there with Christian McCaffrey going down for the year
And
now.
Jordan Mason.
And Jordan Mason going
They're
down.
both
So
on
Isaac
IR.
Arendo, who scored a touchdown this week, will be their starting running back. He's pretty good still, though. Not going to lie. But Niners still sitting there at 5-7 at the bottom of that division, which is crazy to say. And they're only the 11th seed. So anything can really happen in the NFC. Washington's kind of skidding a little bit, too. A lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on in the NFL. It's going to be very interesting down the stretch. But let's talk about Week 14. And you want to get into our picks right now?
Let's get right into them. So the teams on the bye this week, Week 14, is another 6-team bye. This is the last week of bye, ladies and gentlemen. Last week of bye week.
That's huge.
So that's awesome. After this, we get more football.
Everybody, and then it'll be everybody's record will be even in the standings.
Yep.
It's
the most
We'll
satisfying
have a better
week.
indication of teams kind of standing wise, and I think after this week, maybe we can go through and try to see some actual play, like go through that website again and see some actual playoff seedings.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Is it playoffpredictors.com maybe?
Yep.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
All right.
So the teams on the bye: Ravens, Broncos, Texans. We have the Colts, Pats, Commanders. So, there's some good teams on this list. There's some bad teams on this list. But much needed bye for the Ravens because they have to figure out what the hell that dumpster fire was. Broncos getting a nice win, and so now they get a nice week. The Texans, they need to figure it out because they have been atrocious. CJ Stroud has not been the same guy. And then the Colts, I wouldn't even say this is a good week for their bye. I would say with that win, that momentum would have really helped. But this bye week hurts them.
It definitely would have, and I think that the NFL needs to start taking into account the teams and where the buys are. There's no reason that the Patriots should have a Week 14 bye, and there's no reason that the Chiefs should have a Week 6 bye.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. I think whoever made a good point about it, like I think the better teams. I think you should just go based off the standings from last year. I'm not saying that you do that. That's how you do the buys, but I think you play that into a factor of it, saying which teams do we think are going to get in the playoffs? Do we think we can help those teams rest up a little bit more? Because I think that'd be a smarter move for the NFL. I think that'd be a smarter move for the teams. or you just add in 2 bye weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. So
Yeah,
that's
so
just my little spiel on that.
getting into that, Patriots don't really matter if they have the bye or not. And then Commanders, I don't know where they're
It's a
going
good
right
time for
now.
them, I
Yeah.
think. I think they need to get a little bit healthier. And like I said, sitting at 8-5, you got some teams right behind you in the race. I know they're a game and a half up on some of these teams, but that game and a half can shrink real quick if you keep losing these games. So we've seen crazier things happen. Some teams lose bigger leads than that. But let's get into it right on Thursday night, starting with your team traveling to the Motor City, playing against the Detroit Lions. And I'm not very happy about this game because the Bills play the Lions next week in Detroit. So the Lions get basically an extra bye week. They get 10 days at home to just sit around.
Are you guys playing there?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I will be attending that game, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Potentially yeah. I'm very excited.
That's awesome.
Very excited. But not excited that the Lions get to sit around on their couches for 10 days. I know they won't be, but sit around, in Detroit for 10 days, not to travel or anything, but that's just the way the schedule goes. And I have the Lions winning this game.
All right. Here's my little spiel. Just want to point out some history that the NFC North has made through Week 13. The NFC North is the first division in NFL history to have 3 teams with 9+ wins by the end of Thanksgiving Day. Just want to point that out.
That is very impressive. Shout out to the NFC North 2024.
Just
shout out to the Bears.
Just showing how good this division is and how top heavy. And I mean, 3 of the 4 teams are 9-win teams.
And
At least
if you would have said the order of Lions being 11-1 and then you left Vikings at 2 and Packers at 3 blank with no records, I'd be like, oh, that's fine. I'm probably sitting at the Vikings at 8-5 and the Packers at 8-5 or 7-6 right now. That's probably how I would view it before the season. But incredible. They're both sitting 2 games above that. So
No, yeah, it's crazy. And then one more thing, Jair Alexander and Romeo Doubs are both practicing, which is great to see for the Packers, especially Romeo going down with that concussion a couple weeks ago, looking to get back. Jair has been out all year, and it's been horrible. And I feel like it happens every year, man. Like with Jair, love the guy, but he always gets injured.
you're great, yeah.
And what I'm calling a must-win game for the Green Bay Packers. And I really like how Jordan Love's playing right now. And I know I said I was going to go against him a week or 2 ago, but I'm not. I got my Green Bay Packers. You can't really go against your team. Thursday night. Remember the last time we played on a Thursday night in Detroit? And it was Thanksgiving last year, and I really liked that game.
That was a good game.
So I think
Enjoyable game for the Packers.
So I think with Josh Jacobs being able to run without having to do it every play like they did in the rain, I know it's going to open up their offense too, but I want our offense to open up. And I think Christian Watson's going to be a name. I think Tucker Kraft is going to be a name this week. I got the Green Bay Packers in a 1-score, probably a 3, in between 1 and 3 point game.
Wow.
I think it's going to be 28-27, maybe a 27-24, somewhere around there. And the Packers win.
I'd be excited to watch that game. Divisional game right there, NFC North. Now we're going to move to the Sunday games, starting the AFC North with the Browns and Steelers. Huge game here. Also, if you haven't seen, I'm pretty sure Hard Knocks is doing an AFC North in season towards the last 5 weeks kind of thing. If you like Hard Knocks, and if you like the AFC North like we do on this podcast, I will be tuning into that because I love all those coaches, love a lot of those players.
It's a great 1 o'clock game.
And this is a great 1 o'clock game in Pittsburgh. I have Mr. Unlimited and the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game, and kind of moving up in that divisional race and trying to solidify their spot as the AFC North champs this year.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna agree with Mr. Unlimited, but for a reason, I think the Browns game first time around was a little bit of a mistake. They're played away, now they're home. They learn from their mistakes. That defense is gonna be flying around on Sunday. Give me the Steelers here.
All right, we're moving on now to the Saints and the Giants in New Jersey. The Giants now eliminated from playoff contention if they weren't already, and they're contending for the number 1 overall pick. I got Darian Rizzi and the New Orleans Saints getting to 5-8 and potentially getting back in this playoff race. We've seen some crazy things, like I keep saying, but the Saints team just keeps winning football games. I think they're going to get another one this week.
I do too. I think the Giants are a garbage fire. I think every team in New Jersey is a garbage fire right now. And I don't see any way both teams win. So, I got the Saints this week.
And let's talk about that other team from New Jersey as well. The New Jersey Jets going to Miami on South Beach, playing the Miami Dolphins. I have the Dolphins in this game. I've picked the Jets the last few weeks. I can't pick them again. I cannot pick them again.
Yeah, I have the Dolphins as well this week. I don't think there's a way that the season could turn around for the Jets. It's completely over. This week they will be eliminated from the playoffs. If they're not already. They're not yet. But
Not yet, but they're the next team to get
okay,
eliminated.
so this week will be the week that they get eliminated. And you never know. They might bench Rodgers. So I'm going to pick the Dolphins here. I think the way that they played in the fourth quarter on Thanksgiving night has me picking them here.
We're going to get another divisional game right here. Moving to the AFC South with Jaguars and Titans. Gavin, who do you got in this game?
I have the Titans here, the Tennessee Titans. I have Will Levis, Mr. Mayo, going against Mac Jones, horrible garbage. So,
yeah,
give me the Titans here.
I have the Titans too. I was contemplating taking the Jags in this game because I feel like this is a game where Mac Jones can say, "Hey, I can still win a football game." You know, it might be true.
Could be
true,
yeah.
but especially against the Titans. But the Titans have a good defense, so I think they're going to shut down this terrible Jags offense
garbage.
this year.
Garbage.
So I got the Titans in this game.
Yeah, I do too. Next game, we have the Falcons visiting the Vikings. And this is a huge game, playoff implications, back-to-back weeks in Minnesota for the Vikings where both games were huge for playoffs. And this week, I think the Falcons will go in there and they're going to lose to the Minnesota Vikings because the Vikings just find a way to get it done. And they're going to find another way to get it done against a team that is absolutely freezing cold right now. So give me the Vikings.
You know what? I really, this is the only game that I had left that I was unsure about who I was going to pick. And I'm still really unsure right now. But we haven't tallied up the standings from last week. But I'm pretty sure I lost a game this week. And I need to pick one up. I think this is a game where the Falcons need to get a win. Need to get back in contention. They know the Bucs have a game this week that they're going to win. They're playing the Raiders. Unless the Raiders play like they did last week. But I think I'm going to take the Falcons in this game. I think I'm going to talk myself into it. Kirko going back into Minnesota. That's something we need to talk about too. That's the storyline.
That's a storyline.
Yeah. So I got the Falcons in this one. I think I really talked myself into it the last minute.
All right, I like that. Next game, we have the Panthers, the hot Panthers, but losing Panthers, visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are the hottest team in the NFL right now, and I'm gonna take Saquon, 3 touchdowns.
All I'm
win.
saying is that if the Eagles win this week and the Lions lose to the Packers, the Eagles will be in line to host the NFC Championship game. That's all I'm going to say. So my prediction is still on the table. The Ravens kind of fell out of it a little bit, but maybe we can reel them back in a little bit.
I am amazed.
What?
I just went through the graphic, and for the first time in Out of Bounds history, Gavin Williams went undefeated this week.
That is unreal.
Can we just go through the games really quick?
That is unreal. Wait, first of all, congratulations. That's unreal.
Hey, you still got 14.
That's awesome, man.
Dude.
No, but that's great.
Okay,
16-0.
Let's go through the wins. I just want to
there was no buys this week.
There was no buys.
Oh my God.
So I had Lions, they won. Cowboys won. Packers won. Chiefs won. Texans won. Colts won. Chargers won. Seahawks won. Commanders won. Steelers won. Vikings won. Rams won, Bucks won, Eagles won, Bills won, and Broncos won. That's a 15-0 or 16-0.
16-0.
It's a 16-0.
16-0
for the first time in Out of Bounds history.
Congratulations.
16-0.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome. So I lost two games. I lost 2 games this week.
I mean,
wow. I saw your face light up. I was like, "What is going on over there?"
Because I'm like, "Wait, did I get every game right?" And I was like,
"That's
oh
crazy.
God.
That's awesome."
Hopefully, I can go back-to-back weeks.
Wow, you can have a streak going right now.
Dude, wow.
You might have to go back to week 12 and see if you ended the week on a streak as well. See how many games in a row you've picked.
Okay, yeah.
So, talking about the Eagles and Panthers right here. I have the Eagles in this game. I don't know if I said that already. You said you have the Eagles.
Yeah, I have the Eagles, yeah.
Let's move on to the Bucks and Raiders. I kind of already spoiled my pick already. I have the Bucks in this game.
I have the Bucs in this game. I like how Mike Evans is playing in absence of Chris Godwin, and I like how the way Baker's still going to throw the rock. So
Yeah, Mike Evans even come back from injury, not playing scared, playing like himself, like the Mike Evans that he is, the most underrated wide receiver potentially of all time. And he keeps balling. Baker, so underrated this year, been so good for them.
he's been that guy.
And he's been that guy even with all the injuries that they've had. Kate Otton's been really good for them. Yeah, Bucks going to get a win here at home probably this week.
I agree.
We're moving on now to potentially one of the games of the week. One of the most important games of the week. One of the most important games of the season in the NFC West. Seahawks.
This could be the crown.
Seahawks at Cardinals. These are the two teams leading the division right now. If you're a Rams fan going into the game against the Bills, you're probably hoping that the Cardinals win this game, even out the division a little bit. If you're also a 49ers fan, you're probably hoping that the Cardinals win this game.
Yep.
Obviously, if you're a Seahawks fan, you're trying to extend that to leading the division to 2 games.
Yeah,
that would
that'd
be
be
very
huge.
important, especially knowing that the Rams got the Bills. And in this game, I had the Cardinals closing that gap, tying that division. I got the Cardinals in this game. A home win. 2 weeks ago, we saw them play. And I think that one went to the Seahawks. So that's where they really propelled themselves. And, I think the Cardinals are going to get their get back this week.
I have the Cardinals as well. I think this is going to be the biggest bounce back week we've ever seen from Kyler Murray, because he's going to be pissed about how it left off in Minneapolis. And he's going to go back, and he's home against a division rival. He plays great in Arizona. And I got Marvin Harrison to record a touchdown in this game. But most importantly, I got Trey McBride. I don't even know what his line is for his yards. I got him over 55.5. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
I'm not a betting man. Well, semi-betting man.
A little same game parlay right there.
So yeah, if you guys are tallying up what I've been saying, I said Saquon 3 touchdown games, so you can make some mad money if you want to hop on the bets.
Moving
But I
on
got the
now
Cardinals.
to two teams that the seasons have just not gone the way that they want to.
Absolutely.
And one of them still has a shot, but they got to win this week. Bears at 49ers. Niners without McCaffrey and Jordan Mason.
Both on IR now.
Both on IR out for the year. I
It's
saw
tough.
Schefter drop Christian McCaffrey from his team yesterday. He tweeted, "It hurts," or "This hurts."
Wow.
With the screenshot.
You can tell
of
he's
him.
not in a dynasty league.
He's not in a dynasty league. But Bears at Niners anyway in this game. Who do you got?
I have the Niners. I still think that there's enough pieces on that Niners offense that can get it done against the Chicago Bears. And the Chicago Bears are having a first week head coach. I got to go the Niners. I think Brock Purdy can still get it done with George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings. I just think like we saw with Jordan Mason when he came in against the Jets, that was his first week. That was his first week. Nobody knew his name. He ran all over him. Who's the guy coming in this week?
Isaac Guerrero.
All right, Garendo's going to go off 100-plus yards. Here we go.
I mean, so I'll start this off with saying I have the Bears in this game. I have the flip side of this. And the Niners team that I saw on Sunday, I saw the sideline during the timeouts. That was the team that did not want to be playing football anymore. The guys that they have, the depth on their team, is not the depth of the guys that they used to have. I'm being dead serious. This is like, they do not look like a good football team right now. Shanahan looks checked out. The whole coaching staff looks checked out. I think this new coach is going to try to come in there, have a prove-it game. Bears are on a 6-game losing streak, man. They got to win a game at some point. This team's still trying every week, and they're losing by like a point every week. By the way, I think the Bears have lost 3 straight games, including their 6th straight, but 3 straight games in the division. I think they've had 3 straight division games, and they've all been within like 3 points.
It has been because it went Packers,
Against
Packers,
all 3
Vikings,
teams as well.
yeah.
So very tough sledding here, including that Hail Mary being in that 6th. Just
They haven't won a game since that.
just terrible.
Yeah.
That was the start of it. That was really the downfall of their season. The downfall of my season picks wise has been the Jets and the Bears. And I'm going with the Bears again. Might bite me in the butt, but got the Bears.
But?
I got the Bears. I got the Bears.
Might bite you in the butt. All right. Next game, we have your Buffalo Bills visiting the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, last time we went to LA, it was a pretty great game for us.
Week 1.
Start of the year, right
years
after the
ago.
Rams won the Super Bowl.
That was a great game.
That was a great game. That was when, the Bills really were like, we're still here.
It was our first week freshman
That was the
year.
first game after 13 seconds.
First ever Bills game I watched with you.
That was the first Bills game I ever watched at Bonaventure.
Yep.
Shout out. And I have the Bills winning this game.
I also have the Bills winning this game. I don't think there's enough pieces on the Rams defense to stop that MVP frontrunner Josh Allen.
Go Bills. Moving on now to huge AFC West game right here. Chargers traveling to Arrowhead, taking on the Chiefs. Gavin, who do you got in this game?
If there's one team's kryptonite, it's the Chargers for Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, Patrick Mahomes for the Chargers. Chiefs never get it done. They always play one hell of a game. Every time. One score, two scores might be 10 points. I still have the Chiefs winning this game at home. I feel like Patrick plays even better when he plays in LA. But
Very true, because those games are usually Monday night or Thursday night, and it's always a close game. It sometimes goes to OT.
It sometimes does. But I have the Chiefs handling some business here. And I think this might be the game where you can see a nice Kareem Hunt run game, and you can see a Xavier Worthy little wildcat play or a roundabout play. You never know. I have the Chiefs in this game, but it's going to be a close one, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I was getting kind of nervous there when you were talking about the Chargers, because I have the Chargers winning this game. Picking the Chargers, I'm very confident.
I'm
very confident in this pick, because the last time that the Chiefs played a good team, they lost. They're playing a good team this week. I mean, the last few games they played, the Panthers, Raiders,
Falcons.
Those have been, and the Falcons. Those have been 3 really close games. 3 games they should have lost, potentially. And I think it's going to be a similar situation here. I know J.K. Dobbins went on IR. I know he's going to be out for a little bit. But I think the boys are going to step up. I think Will Dissly's going to have a great game this week. I think you're going to see a lot of Ladd McConkey this week. It's going to be a breakout game for him on Sunday night. Kind of if it wasn't a breakout game for him against the Bengals, it's going to be a breakout game for him against the Chiefs in Arrowhead, so some away fans can see it too. And I think this is going to be a game that Justin Herbert really puts himself on the map, says, hey, we're contenders too in the AFC, start talking about us. I think the Chargers get this one done.
I think the way that Jim's rallied this team has been something special.
Harbaugh's been great this year. He's been great.
He
He knows how to rally a team. He's got those running backs working. He's got Gus Edwards getting in the end zone now. That's a scary sight. Especially with J.K. Dobbins going down. So if he can get that run game going a little bit with that team, it's going to be dangerous.
I still have the Chiefs. You got the Chargers. Last game, which I don't think.
What are we doing, man? We got the Simpsons game on Monday night. You know about that, right?
Yeah.
They got the Simpsons cast. If you haven't seen it, they used to have the Nickelodeon shows where it'd be SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, all the folks, you know. And then they're doing this year. They're doing the Simpsons, which is pretty cool. But they couldn't flex this game on a Monday night because they had all the Simpsons stuff ready to go, which I wonder, which is pretty interesting, if they had everything ready to go for Cooper Rush. But Bengals traveling to Jerry World, another game in Jerry World, to take on the Cowboys. I just cannot justify picking Jerry Jones' team this week, especially after everything that's going on with them. And I know it's tough to really pick the Bengals right now because they just cannot win a game, but I think this is a game, if anything, that they get it done, and I think the Bengals get it done here in Jerry World.
I'm not going to lie. I'm doing the same exact thing. I just don't find any reason to find a way to pick Cooper Rush over Joe Burrow. And I know every week this is one of the best offenses in the league, but they have one of the worst defenses in the league. So they lose a lot of games, but I think this is a week where the defense can finally get a stop or two for Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I think Joe Burrow is going to be able to get it done. And, you know, Jamar Chase is definitely going to have another touchdown in this game. Hopefully Chase Brown gets in the end zone.
This is a very similar season for both these teams. They have the quarterback, they have the wide receiver, they have the star defensive end, but just can't get it done, man. They don't have the depth for it.
Nope.
Had some injuries early on, had a tough schedule, and just couldn't win games that they should have won early in the season, which really just dug them a hole, which had them playing up not like themselves. It's kind of the similar situation for both these teams this year, but
It really is.
it's the way we are right now, where we're sitting at, and that's going to be an interesting game. It's not going to be a great game, but going to be interesting going into it. Going to be a good week of football. Like you said, you got the 6 teams on the bye, so last week of byes, and we're really gearing up for playoffs here.
Oh, yeah. So locked in.
So locked in. College football, NFL. Potentially look out for something on Friday this week, potentially. Maybe something NBA. Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know what you want to see. You got anything, Gav?
Let's have a week. Go Pack, go.
Go Bills. Go Sabres. Go Clippers. Go Blue. Go Bonus. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Have a day.